Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
This is something that's been coming up where people are just tired of having to really motivate their team all the time. And they're looking for ways to incentivize their employees. And it's a hard one because what do you incentivize? How do you measure it? How do you actually divvy it out? All that kind of stuff. Um, we've had Mike Andes on the show. We've had Will Blake on the show. They both have softwares. One's uh, per 4 Mance. The 4 is the
Yep.
number 4 instead of FOR
Performance.io.
.io.
And
And we'll
then
link to
the
that.
other-
And then the other one is P4P, Pay for Performance software. And we'll link to that from Mike Andes as well. But yeah, those are really great. Those are really big shifts in how you do payroll and how you track time and how you measure jobs. And I would only imagine that there's a really big setup cost to that. And maybe it's just time to really, if you're not tracking time on jobs specifically already, then you have to implement something around that to be able to do that. And you have to have a very clear identified budget and cost that you are going to give to labor for each job.
I think I've been through the process with both of them, and I think it's really pretty easy.
Okay.
And it's not that huge expensive. I mean, you have to buy the app. But
Maybe it'd be worth
Well,
doing a demo.
ought
We'll have to do a demo on the show sometime. Walk with someone and literally set up a company.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Okay. So outside of that, if we're not doing pay for performance, there are other ways of incentivizing employees. So I just want to talk to you
let's
about
say
what you
pay
think
for
about
performance.
incentivize.
Well, finding clever ways, that's not necessarily a good word, but smart ways that work, maybe sometimes they're not obvious, is really hard to do. And it depends on it can be hard to do. It depends on your company. But mostly what I think about when I think about incentives is what not to do. So we start there. And what I see most often, people just give people money.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the end of the year. I gave him $500 or I gave him $5,000 or, man, he really busted his tail out there today. And you just walk over to the guy and give him $100 handshake. Right. And the problem with that is people come to expect that. There's nothing wrong with being generous, but they need to understand why they're being rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that we've got to do some work. We've got to have clarity. They have to have clarity. We have to have a way to measure. Things that I don't like to see are where you give people more money just because they've been there longer.
Exactly.
I mean, or just because it's Christmas, like we already talked about that. That is not, we're not just doing it because, I couldn't think of a way. That's why the pay for performance and performance are such great deals, is because you set a budget for the job, a labor budget for the job, and they either get that amount or time plus time and a half, whichever's higher. So they're incentivized to to do something quickly because they get paid the same amount.
Right.
The big thing about those, though, are you are perfectly aligned. In other words, you benefit if they do the job more quickly because you can do another job in the same time. And they benefit if they do the job more quickly because they either get the time off, the extra time, or they get to do another job and make more money. And it's self-driven. It's self-incentivizing. Nobody has to tell them, do this, do that.
Right.
It's positive. It's not be punished. So finding more, it's harder to find a motivational, measurable, objective standard for the bookkeeper, for example, to keep. I mean, you could, that the books are all cloned and closed and reconciled by the 15th of every month, no exception. But up to your question, they need to do that anyway, because that's their job. But you hit your job all the time. I mean, so that's it, is trying to find the thing that aligns your interest with their interests.
Well,
and
and you also
motivate that.
don't want to incentivize things like um, you showed up on time 10 days in a row. You know, like that's what they're supposed to do. You don't want to do like, hey, the CRM is up to date with all your information. Like that's their job. That's part of their
Yeah.
role. And so you don't want to incentivize those things. You want to incentivize something that really ties, I think it ties to directly to profitability or revenue or whatever it is, right? That would be ideal. Um, I think you can get creative with this a little bit. Um, there's a really good example. Gosh, I'm forgetting if it's Rockefeller or um, Carnegie or one of these guys, probably Rockefeller, but he had morning or day crew and night crew in the
Oh
factory.
yeah.
Yeah. And he would put the number of how
Killing it.
many widgets or whatever were done.
No, one
Okay,
of
you
the
tell me.
guys came. Well, sorry.
You
What
tell me the story. I don't know. This
they're
is your
smelting
lane.
steel,
Okay.
and one of the guys in the night crew came out and drew a big 6 in chalk on the floor. Nobody told him they did 6 tons or 6 units or whatever, and it might have been 66. I don't know. Well, he just did that. Came back that night and it was 7.
Yeah.
So the day crew, and so anyway, they got a war, not a war, friendly competition going, and everybody benefited. It was nothing but raw competition.
Okay. I didn't realize that it wasn't enforced by Rockefeller himself
No,
or
it
manager.
it may have been ultimately at the end, but a guy just came out and did it. He just
Wow.
wrote down
Okay.
what they like.
So
We had
then
a good night. Really.
they're competing against how many they
Yeah.
can do in the day crew, the night crew, and now
Right.
production's through the
Right.
roof, right? And so that's not necessarily an incentive in the terms of getting more money, but it's recognition, which is a huge incentive, which
Yeah.
is one of the biggest ones. If you can recognize somebody, that means a lot. And so,
Well, you're bringing us to the 5 love languages, and
yeah,
that may sound there are the 5 love languages, and then there are also the 5 love languages for business. And I don't know that I can remember all of them, but
I don't
matter
know
of fact,
those.
I need to. You can
Look it up.
look it up while we're talking. But
Okay.
one of the things is recognition, public recognition,
Okay.
and one of the warnings with that is there are some people who will quit if
If
you
they're
tell them they're going
recognized.
to come up on stage and get a trophy.
Yeah.
They will quit. They can't stand it. And
Yeah.
there's actually one that you got to watch out about, but it's touch. In other words, this book is real simple, short, good book. Started out with language of love between family members, but you put your hand on somebody's shoulder, right?
Mm.
Literally, that means a lot to them. There are people who, if you touch me, I will punch you in the face, right? So, but to see what those are, and then you learn what those people uh, value, and you give them that. And that
Mm.
also is that they understand that you took the time to understand them and give them that.
Yeah.
Some people want time off, especially nowadays.
Hmm.
Did you see all the 5?
Yeah, so the recognition one is the words of affirmation, which is the same as the love
Okay,
languages. Then
right.
maybe they're all the same as the love languages, which is yeah, they are. I could have given
No,
you
no,
that.
they are. They're just. I think they changed the touching. Anyway, they word a little bit because there are probably a lot of people out there don't want to have the 5 love
Yeah,
languages on their desk.
yeah. So yeah, words of affirmation, quality time is the second one. Acts of service, gifts, and then physical touch. But
That's
symbolic gestures of connection is what they call it for business because you don't need to be
yeah,
touching people. Handshakes, high fives,
yeah,
fist
yeah,
bumps, warm
right.
greetings at events or conferences. Um, yeah, personalized videos and messages if it's, a virtual environment. But
So
yeah,
everybody
that
listening
would have,
today as a takeaway ought to order that book. It probably costs $3
yeah,
and read it. And
it's short
yeah,
too.
I
It's
know.
a 70-page book, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. It's just making some points you need to be aware of, and that stuff even works with the old growly. Guys got a wall up and make you scared to be around them. And a lot of time you don't know what's in there, and you don't know
Yeah.
why that wall's there. But
Yeah.
that's a good skill for people to understand about when we're talking about incentivizing people.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.